Welcome to Coruzant Technologies, home of the Digital Executive Podcast. Welcome to the Digital Executive. Today's guest is Preet Anand. Preet Anand is the co-owner and president of Snug, a daily check-in service for seniors living alone. He also co-founded the safety and risk tech function at Lyft as its first product manager and now leads its health safety program. Preet previously started and sold Patronus, a company focused on making 911 calls smarter. Over 6,000 lives have been saved by Rapid SOS, the acquirer. His long-term mission is to perpetuate long-term free will. He does this by applying technology to mitigate risk and enhance safety. Good afternoon, Preet. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
You bet, Preet. This is exciting. Get to talk to another entrepreneur that's working in the tech space and personal safety. So let's jump into those questions. So Preet, you've got quite the career in personal safety, from process to technology, and now an entrepreneur and founder of Snug Safety. Could you share with our audience the secret to your career growth and what inspires you?
Yeah, so I have this mission statement for myself, almost a mantra, and it's called perpetuating free will. And what that means to me is my hope is that as a consequence of my work, more people have choices. Choices are to live the life that they want to live. And sometimes that means that it's creating a new product, creating a new opportunity, something else like that, that is something new that they can do. But sometimes it's also removing limits. And unfortunately, safety is a limit for a lot of people that either anxiety or very real objective safety concerns, they stop people from being able to enjoy the things they want to enjoy. The idea of helping people do more of what they want to do, that gets me excited because I just get excited about people and wanting them to live what they want to live on.
That's amazing. Thanks for sharing that. I think that's important too, that people feel that certain level of certainty as well, as you mentioned around safety. So Preet, as you know, everybody globally has to make major shifts to adapt to the new normal here during this pandemic. Could you share with us what you're doing to help your organization stay relevant in the economy?
We at Snug have actually, some of what's occurred with COVID and with the shutdowns, people have been less connected than they previously have been able to. So they've adopted Snug as a way to feel more connected and also just to have that reassurance that someone is out there watching them or looking out for them. So what Snug is, in case your audience didn't know, is it's a daily check-in service for seniors living alone. And so it's a free app that they download on their phone. And every morning at a time that they select, they have to check in by that time to just open the app, hit a big green check mark, and then they get a great quote of the day. In the event, though, they don't check in for whatever reason, Snug will then alert their emergency contacts that that person did not check in and you might want to give them a call. And if someone else if they're on a different plan, they'll have a professional dispatcher call them first, and then if needed, arrange a wellness check. And so with a lot of folks being a little bit less connected, not necessarily going into work, feeling more isolated, we've actually seen a very big surge in demand for Snug. And Snug has grown more than 3.5 times just this year.
That's amazing, simply amazing. And another stat that several technologists or executives have shared on this podcast is they say innovation has advanced 3 to 4 years in the last 6 months. So I can totally see it. So thank you for sharing that, Preet. Preet, are you looking at leveraging any new or emerging technologies within your space? And maybe not, but maybe it's just that new tool or app that you found is very useful.
So I'll actually give you 2 answers here. I'll tell you something that a tool that we're playing with and are interested in. Then I'll also tell you about something that I'm doing for myself as just kind of a fun little project. The first is actually for myself. I've been using Notion, which I don't know if you're familiar with, but it's a productivity software. It sort of competes with Google Docs and Evernote. But one of the really powerful parts of it is you can build your own workflows and kind of customize templates. And I've been using it for being a little bit more crisp in decision making and bringing more processes in how I make big decisions. And by building out that template, Notion has been very helpful for me. And then the second one is, a lot of us, when we're thinking about growth, we often think about it in terms of money often. But I think another really important currency we all need to think about is time and how we're spending our time, how we're using our time. What are we spending our time on, things that bring us joy or not? And so I've been working on how to make the process of doing a time audit a lot easier because every time I do one, and a time audit is just when you actually write down, what did I do with my time, all the time that I was awake? It's very insightful whenever I do it, but it's often super tedious. So if I can make it less tedious, then hopefully I can do it on a monthly basis and really make sure I'm using my time wisely.
Thank you for sharing. I think those are two things that are important in our busy daily lives. Whether we're an executive or not, I think we're just overwhelmed by all the apps and all the things that are distracting us from our regular daily lives. So thank you for sharing that. I appreciate it. And Preet, this is what my audience would like to know about. They want to learn more about you, right? So can you share something from your career experience that would be helpful for those looking to grow their career in either leadership or entrepreneurship?
Sure. I think something that's really important is to really make sure you're solving a problem that you are proud to work on for a long, long time. And that's a personal endeavor, and it requires often solitude. It often requires clarity. It absolutely requires clarity. But knowing what problems excite you, what problems don't excite you, which problems you're willing to take risks for, whether those risks with your time, such as starting a new company, or even risks just in terms of standing up for something that not everyone is sure about. That's a really important thing, because that's when you know that's something you're willing to work on. That's something you're willing to specialize in. That's something you're willing to make a part of your story. And again, as I talked about at the beginning of this, like for me, safety and trust is such a big part of that. That these really important services, parts of our society that some people might find boring, but I feel is so critical. I take a lot of pride in that, and I'm willing to work on these. I worked on my own startup for 4 years. I've been working on Snug for closing in on a couple of years now, and other safety things for years and years. And I plan to keep doing so, because I think the benefit we can deliver is just worth that. And the time I put into that, I take pride in, because I know it's towards that end. So whatever you're working on, or even considering working on, make sure you have that clarity. Ask yourself, can I work on this for 5 years, doing this day in and day out? And if you can't, that's okay. But figure out the path to get to that thing, because that's where you're going to do your best work. And that's where you're going to take the risks that really propel great things for you, but also the risks that propel great things for your customers and larger society.
Thanks for sharing, Preet. I appreciate that. I can tell you that it does align with a lot of folks that have said, finding your why or your purpose, but contributing something to the greater good is always worthwhile. And I appreciate the insight from your perspective, really do. Preet, it was a pleasure having you on the show today, and I look forward to speaking with you real soon.
Thank you for having me.
Bye for now.